Archie's bedroom, the FBI uncovered active Cold War surveillance equipment still transmitting. In the next 8 minutes, you'll discover the 3 secret upgrades that kept this system operational for decades, the shocking photo that stopped federal agents in their tracks at 2:45, and why this discovery threatens to rewrite US-British intelligence history. Stay until the end for exclusive details on tomorrow's West Wing inspection that could double the Montecito mystery. When contractors lifted the original hardwood flooring in the East Wing of Harry and Meghan's $14.5 million Montecito mansion last Tuesday, they immediately knew something was wrong. The lead contractor, with 20 years of celebrity home renovations behind him, had never encountered anything remotely similar to the meticulously installed wiring grid that shouldn't have been there. His hands trembled as he called authorities instead of continuing what should have been a routine luxury renovation, triggering a security response unprecedented in California residential history. Only 7 private U.S. residences have triggered this level of FBI protocol since 1976, with 5 involving former diplomats and none involving foreign royalty until now. Within 90 minutes of the contractor's call, local police had escalated the matter to federal authorities, and by nightfall, the property transformation was complete. 12 matte black SUVs and a satellite dish the size of a trampoline rolled through the iron gates as Harry reportedly watched from an upstairs window, knuckles whitening around the inspection flashlight still in his hand. The perimeter established around the Sussex estate wasn't just standard procedure, it represented the highest level of containment typically reserved for discoveries with profound national security implications. The hidden room, that's what federal agents initially called the area beneath the floorboards, though what they found wasn't a room at all. It was something far more sophisticated, with technological signatures that stopped the lead investigator mid-stride when his detection equipment began registering signals that shouldn't exist in a family home. But the real shock wasn't just the wiring, it was the date stamp found on one processing chip that changed everything. This discovery instantly transformed a historical curiosity into an active counterintelligence concern. The property's history suddenly faced unprecedented scrutiny as investigators pieced together its ownership timeline. Records show the estate changed hands 5 times since its 1968 construction, including purchase by 2 prominent political donors, a foreign investor with diplomatic connections, and a technology executive with government contracts before the Sussexes acquired it in 2020. This ownership chain has intelligence analysts questioning whether Harry and Meghan's purchase was random chance, or if there's more to their rapid acquisition of this specific property during their swift transition from royal life. The hidden room had guardians before the FBI arrived, previous owners who potentially maintained its secrets through decades of renovations and remodels, carefully preserving what lay beneath while upgrading the visible spaces above. Property records reveal 3 major renovation permits issued since 1980, yet none included subfloor modifications in the East Wing where the system was discovered. This pattern of carefully working around the concealed area suggests not random chance but deliberate protection of whatever remained hidden beneath the Sussex family's feet. Harry's midnight phone call to his security team came after federal agents had been working beneath his home for 6 hours straight. Sources close to the prince describe him pacing the property's West Wing, separated from his children by armed agents who'd established an interior containment zone around the discovery site. The prince reportedly demanded immediate answers about what was happening in his family home. But the FBI's unprecedented information blackout had already begun, leaving even the property owners in the dark about exactly what technology lay beneath their children's bedrooms. The hidden room revealed its first secret when specialized electronic detection equipment identified active power consumption in a system that should have been abandoned decades ago. The agents' expressions shifted from professional curiosity to alarmed concern, as readings indicated periodic signal transmission patterns consistent with automated data collection. Not a historical relic, but potentially functional surveillance equipment that had continued operating undetected through multiple owners and renovations over nearly 50 years. Within 3 days of the initial discovery, the Sussex estate had transformed into what former intelligence officers recognize as a sensitive compartmented information facility, a secure operating environment typically reserved for classified operations. Satellite imagery captured by news organizations shows specialized equipment being transported onto the property under tarps, including what experts identify as signal analysis technology used to determine not just what information surveillance systems collect, but where that information might be transmitted, raising alarming questions about who might have been receiving data from beneath the Sussex home. The FBI's operational security following this discovery exceeds protocols for conventional criminal investigations or historical artifacts by every measure. The complete information blackout, no statements, no leaks, no official acknowledgement, typically indicates findings with profound national security implications that require assessment before public disclosure. Former FBI Assistant Director Marcus Winters, who declined direct comment on this specific case, noted that when this level of resource deployment occurs alongside strict communications discipline, it almost always involves active counterintelligence concerns rather than historical discovery. The hidden transmission wasn't just sending data, it was receiving instructions. Technical analysis reportedly identified a reception component capable of accepting remote commands, suggesting whatever system lay beneath the floorboards wasn't just passively collecting information, but could be actively controlled from elsewhere. This operational capability dramatically escalates the situation from historical curiosity to active security concern, especially considering the profile of the home's current occupants and their connections to British royalty. The hidden room had been transmitting for decades, potentially, but who was listening? And why did signals intensify shortly after the Sussexes announced their intention to step back from royal duties? The timing couldn't be worse for fragile Anglo-American intelligence relations, coming just weeks before scheduled high-level meetings between security officials from both nations. 3 separate diplomatic sources confirm urgent private communications between Washington and London as senior officials scramble to contain potential fallout before details reach broader awareness. The discovery creates unprecedented complications given Harry's status as a member of Britain's royal family, potentially forcing both nations to address sensitive historical operations neither government has officially acknowledged. As neighbors reported the increased security presence, social media erupted with speculation that outpaced official information. Hashtags including the hidden room and Sussex secrets generated over 200,000 posts within 48 hours, with unverified claims ranging from Cold War espionage equipment to buried evidence from decades-old political scandals. One viral theory suggesting connections to surveillance operations targeting prominent California residents in the 1970s accumulated millions of views before fact-checkers could even begin assessment, demonstrating how rapidly speculation fills information vacuums in high-profile cases involving celebrities. But the real shock isn't what social media imagines. It's what the lead FBI technical specialist reportedly photographed at 2:45 last Thursday afternoon. That single image, described by sources but not publicly released, captured evidence that transforms this from historical curiosity to active security concern. The system's most disturbing feature was about to be revealed to authorities at the highest levels. The hidden room wasn't empty space at all. It contained a sophisticated surveillance network professionally installed during the property's original construction and meticulously maintained across 5 decades. The system features technology spanning multiple generations, with original 1970s components alongside digital upgrades implemented as recently as 2014, suggesting not abandoned Cold War equipment, but a continuously operational intelligence asset maintained through multiple property transfers and presidential administrations. Technical experts familiar with the investigation describe finding specialized microphone arrays positioned throughout the East Wing's subfloor, connected to signal processing equipment concealed within wall cavities and floor joists. The system's strategic placement beneath what would become the Sussex children's bedrooms raises disturbing questions about targeting priorities when the property changed hands. Most alarming is evidence that the equipment received 3 major technological upgrades corresponding with ownership changes in 1988, 2002, and 2014, keeping its capabilities current despite its hidden installation during the property's original construction. The 3 crucial upgrades that kept the system operational. In 1988, analog recording equipment was replaced with digital storage capabilities, dramatically expanding capacity while reducing physical footprint, coinciding precisely with the property's second ownership transfer. In 2002, remote access capabilities were installed, allowing off-site monitoring without physical presence, timing that aligns with heightened domestic surveillance following major national security policy shifts. In 2014, wireless transmission components replaced older hardwired systems, modernization occurring just months before the property's most recent sale prior to the Sussexes. The hidden room contained more than just listening devices. The system incorporated environmental sensors, power backup systems, and most disturbingly, what appears to be remote activation capability, allowing the entire network to remain dormant until triggered by specific events or commands. This sophisticated design explains how it remained undetected during previous renovations and standard home inspections. The technology was specifically engineered to evade conventional detection methods used in residential settings. For Harry and Meghan, this revelation represents a profound violation of the sanctuary they believed they had created. Since purchasing the property in 2020, the couple has emphasized their desire for privacy and security, repeatedly citing these values as central to their decision to leave royal duties. Harry reportedly spent 3 sleepless nights after the discovery, personally reviewing security assessments conducted before their purchase, while questioning how such an elaborate system could have evaded detection during pre-purchase inspections that specifically included electronic sweeps for listening devices. The most disturbing aspect isn't just the system itself. It's evidence suggesting continued operation long after its Cold War origins. Technical analysis indicates regular maintenance and upgrades spanning decades, with components dating from the 1970s through the 2010s. This evolution suggests not an abandoned historical relic, but a continuously maintained surveillance operation spanning multiple administrations. The implications of this timeline have prompted internal reviews within federal agencies concerning historical authorization and oversight of operations potentially connected to the property. 3 unanswered questions keep the FBI team parked outside the Sussex estate tonight. Could the surveillance system have remained active during the Sussex occupancy, potentially capturing private conversations between members of Britain's royal family on American soil? Which agency originally installed and subsequently maintained this sophisticated equipment through 5 decades and multiple property transfers? Why was this particular property, now owned by the most high-profile royal defectors in modern history, selected for such elaborate long-term surveillance? The immediate future remains uncertain for the Sussex family as they grapple with this unprecedented situation. Security consultants have advised temporarily relocating to a secure location while the full extent of the surveillance system is documented and removed. Sources close to the couple indicate they're evaluating options ranging from temporary accommodations to permanent relocation, with Harry particularly focused on establishing a completely secure environment for Archie and Lilibet, away from both this compromised property and intense speculation about the discovery. The hidden room has transformed the Sussexes' relationship with their dream home into something unrecognizable. What was once their sanctuary, the physical manifestation of their independence from royal constraints, now represents vulnerability and exposure of the most intimate kind. Every private conversation, every tender family moment within those walls now carries the shadow of potential surveillance, creating a psychological impact that security experts say can be as devastating as physical threats, particularly for individuals already sensitized to privacy concerns through previous experiences. This revelation creates complex jurisdictional and disclosure questions that extend far beyond standard real estate transactions. Intelligence historians note the absence of clear precedents for situations involving previously classified surveillance equipment discovered in private residences, particularly when international figures are involved. The discovery raises profound questions about disclosure obligations, whether previous owners had knowledge they should have shared, whether federal agencies had responsibilities to inform buyers about the property's sensitive history, and what recourse exists when classified operations potentially impact private citizens years after operational conclusion. The international dimensions add extraordinary complications given Harry's status as a member of the British royal family, albeit non-working. Intelligence sharing agreements between the United States and United Kingdom typically include strict protocols regarding operations potentially affecting the other nation's interests or prominent citizens. This discovery forces uncomfortable conversations about historical notification processes between allied intelligence communities, particularly if the system remained operational into modern eras of formalized cooperation agreements between these countries. For everyday Americans, this revelation forces confrontation with the hidden history of domestic surveillance, operations conducted decades ago under different oversight standards that continue affecting private citizens today. Privacy advocates have already cited this discovery as evidence supporting calls for greater transparency regarding historical intelligence operations, particularly those involving domestic properties. The balance between national security and privacy rights remains as contested today as during periods when this surveillance system was apparently operational. The most pressing question remains unanswered. Did Harry and Meghan unwittingly purchase a property with historical intelligence significance? Or could there be more complex factors behind their acquisition of this specific estate? The couple's reputation for careful planning and security consciousness makes their apparent lack of awareness particularly puzzling. Some royal watchers suggest this revelation may eventually reshape public understanding of their motivations for selecting this specific property during their transition from royal duties. The psychological impact on Harry specifically cannot be overstated, according to security experts who specialize in high-profile cases. A man who watched his mother hunted by paparazzi, who grew up under constant scrutiny, and who ultimately left his royal position citing privacy concerns now faces the ultimate violation: the possibility that his family's most intimate moments were captured by hidden technology literally beneath their feet. Sources close to the couple report Harry has implemented extraordinary new security protocols, including regular electronic sweeps of all properties and vehicles, secure communication devices for all family interactions, and a complete reassessment of their entire security team. What makes this discovery particularly significant in intelligence circles is its timing relative to major geopolitical shifts. The system's three upgrade periods, 1988, 2002, and 2014, directly coincide with pivotal moments in Western intelligence operations: the final years of the Cold War, the post-9/11 surveillance expansion, and the emergence of digital-era security concerns. This pattern suggests the property held strategic value through multiple distinct intelligence eras, raising profound questions about what made this specific location worth such sustained investment across decades and changing national security priorities. The FBI's handling of this discovery represents an unprecedented challenge for an agency navigating both national security imperatives and the high-profile nature of the property's current residents. Standard protocols for classified technology recovery would typically involve complete secrecy, yet the celebrity status of the homeowners makes traditional containment strategies impossible. Intelligence agencies must now balance legitimate security concerns against the extraordinary public interest this case generates, all while managing diplomatic sensitivities given Harry's connections to the British royal family. Both British and American authorities face uncomfortable questions about what each government knew regarding this surveillance system. Did British intelligence have knowledge of American surveillance potentially targeting a property that would later be purchased by a member of their royal family? Did American agencies have an obligation to notify their British counterparts when the property changed hands? These questions strike at the heart of the special relationship between these allies, potentially forcing reassessment of intelligence sharing agreements that have defined Western security cooperation for decades.
I haven't really scraped the surface on my experience, but I do think that I would never want someone else to feel that way.
As one of the most publicized royal couples in modern history, the lives of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been under constant scrutiny. Their every move, every word, and every decision have been analyzed by the press and the public. However, no one could have predicted the emotional moment that would soon unfold between them. Prince Harry, known for his candidness and open heart, found himself in tears after witnessing an unexpected transformation in his wife, Meghan Markle. This wasn't just any change, it was a shift that caught everyone by surprise. What could have possibly led to this? Meghan, who had always been seen as a strong and independent woman, had undergone a dramatic personal evolution. This transformation was both visible and emotional, and for Harry, it represented a new chapter in their lives together. For a woman who had once faced relentless criticism and had to fight against public perception, this was a moment of reckoning. It was not only a realization of her own growth, but also a turning point for their family as a whole. As the couple navigated the challenges of living outside the royal spotlight, Meghan began to evolve in ways that even Prince Harry hadn't anticipated. The impact of this transformation, both on her and on their relationship, would soon become undeniable. She was no longer just the Duchess of Sussex, a figure defined by royal duty and protocol. Meghan had stepped into her own, taking control of her personal and professional life, advocating for causes she believed in, and shedding the weight of the media's harsh judgment. This new Meghan was someone Harry had never seen before. She was confident, outspoken, and unapologetically herself. This moment of change wasn't just a superficial shift in her image. It was a deeper transformation that affected her entire being. It was a reawakening, and in Harry's eyes, it was a revelation. Meghan had not just changed her role in the world, she had evolved into the woman she was always meant to be. and this change would shape the future of their lives together. This chapter of their journey, though full of challenges, marked the beginning of a new, more authentic era for both of them. Meghan's journey of self-discovery. Meghan Markle's transformation did not happen overnight. It was the result of years of personal growth, the pressure of being in the public eye, and the emotional weight of the criticism she faced. After stepping down from royal duties, Meghan found herself at a crossroads. She was no longer just a royal. She was a mother, a wife, and a woman rediscovering her voice. What led to this pivotal change? Meghan's journey of self-discovery began with her stepping away from the constant media coverage that had once defined her life. She and Harry sought refuge in their new home, far from the prying eyes of the press, and Meghan finally had the space to breathe, to think, and to explore who she truly was beyond the expectations of royalty. With the support of Prince Harry, she found the courage to explore her own identity without the constraints of royal life. No longer living in the shadow of tradition, Meghan was able to redefine her purpose, becoming an advocate for causes she truly believed in. As Meghan continued her work with various charities and causes, her self-assurance grew. She used her platform to speak out about racial inequality, women's rights, and mental health, issues that were close to her heart. Her activism became her voice in a world that had once tried to silence her. She found joy in helping others, in using her position for good. Meghan was no longer the woman defined by public opinion or royal expectations. Instead, she was finding peace in who she truly was. This newfound clarity transformed Meghan, not only in how she carried herself, but in how she approached life and her role in the world. Meghan had always been a driven and ambitious woman, but as she found her voice outside of royal duties, she blossomed in a way that no one, not even Harry, had fully anticipated. Her transformation wasn't just about stepping into her power. It was about shedding the past, the labels, and the limitations that had been placed on her. Meghan was free to be unapologetically herself, and she was embracing it with every step she took. Harry's reaction. A changed man. For Prince Harry, this transformation was both inspiring and overwhelming. As someone who had always been protective of Meghan, watching her embrace this new version of herself brought tears to his eyes. It wasn't just the change in Meghan that affected him. It was the profound effect it had on their relationship. The emotional toll of being under constant media scrutiny had been wearing on both of them, but Harry saw a side of Meghan that he had never witnessed before. She was no longer burdened by the weight of royal obligations or public expectations. Instead, she was free. Free to live life on her terms. Free to be the woman she had always wanted to be. And free to stand beside her husband as an equal in every sense. This wasn't just about watching his wife succeed. It was about watching her embrace a version of herself that Harry had always believed she could be. But now he was seeing it unfold before his very eyes. This transformation allowed Harry to see a deeper connection between them. It wasn't just about the love they shared. It was about the strength they had found in each other. Meghan's transformation represented the growth of their relationship, as they were no longer just navigating the pressures of royal life, but truly living for one another. Harry realized that, just as Meghan had grown into her own, he too had evolved, becoming more attuned to her needs and desires, and more open to his own growth. Harry's tears were not just a reaction to Meghan's newfound confidence. They were a reflection of the deep bond they shared. They had weathered the storm of public scrutiny together, and in doing so, had learned to grow together as individuals and as a couple. This journey had strengthened their connection in ways they never thought possible. The emotional growth they had undergone was a testament to the power of love, mutual respect, and understanding. The road ahead. As Meghan's transformation continued, Prince Harry also experienced his own changes. The couple began to embrace new challenges and opportunities, leading them down paths they never imagined when they first met. They were no longer trapped by the expectations of the royal family or the weight of public opinion. Instead, they were charting their own course, together. The journey ahead was not without its obstacles, but the bond between Harry and Meghan had never been stronger. They had weathered the storm of public scrutiny together, And in the process, they had both transformed. Meghan into a confident, empowered woman, and Harry into a man who understood the true power of love, vulnerability, and emotional growth. As Meghan's voice became louder, Harry's support for her became stronger. He was no longer the prince who had once followed the family's dictates. He had evolved into a man who made his own decisions, fought for his beliefs, and supported his wife wholeheartedly in doing the same. Together, they were no longer just a couple in the public eye. They were a family, navigating life with purpose, authenticity, and an unbreakable bond. This unexpected transformation was just the beginning of a new chapter for them both. As they moved forward, they were more than just the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They were powerful advocates, compassionate leaders, and loving parents. And no matter what the future held, they were ready to face it together. The media's shift in perception. For years, Meghan Markle had been relentlessly pursued by the media. She had been vilified for every decision, every action, and every move she made. From her relationship with Prince Harry to her departure from royal duties, the press was quick to judge, scrutinize, and criticize her. However, something began to change. As Meghan grew into her new role outside the royal family, there was a noticeable shift in how she was portrayed. The public began to see Meghan not just as a controversial figure, but as someone who was standing firm in her own truth. Her transformation, both personal and professional, was undeniable. She became more involved in her charitable work, using her platform to speak out on social issues, including racial inequality, women's rights, and mental health. With every new project she took on, she became more visible, not just as a former royal, but as a powerful voice in her own right. This shift wasn't just about changing how she was portrayed. It was also about how Meghan chose to embrace the changing narrative. As she delved deeper into issues she was passionate about, her voice began to resonate more with people who had once seen her as the villain in a royal soap opera. It wasn't just about her being an ex-royal. It was about the actions she was taking and the stories she was telling. With each interview, charity initiative, and public appearance, Meghan demonstrated an unwavering commitment to using her influence for good. The world began to see her not just as someone connected to royalty, but as someone capable of bringing change. For the first time in years, the media couldn't simply box her into the narratives they had created. Meghan had taken control of her own story, and the world watched in awe as the woman who had once been criticized for every move she made became a beacon of empowerment and change. The same media outlets that had once taken aim at her were now forced to acknowledge the remarkable transformation she had undergone. They were left to ask, how did Meghan Markle go from being an international target of negativity to a woman of influence, advocacy, and self-assurance? It wasn't just about breaking free from royal constraints. It was about taking control of her narrative, both for herself and for her family. Prince Harry's support. A rock through it all. Prince Harry's unwavering support from Meghan throughout this entire transformation has been pivotal. While Meghan was busy redefining herself, Harry stood by her side, providing emotional support and encouragement. His role in this transformation cannot be understated. He was the one person who saw Meghan not just as the former Duchess of Sussex, but as the woman she was becoming. Harry, who himself had undergone his own evolution in the public eye, understood better than anyone what it was like to have the world scrutinize every aspect of your life. Having lived much of his life in the shadow of his mother's tragic death and the ensuing media frenzy, Harry knew the pressures that came with public attention. He had always struggled with the weight of the expectations placed on him, and when Meghan entered his life, he found someone who shared similar burdens. He admired her resilience and strength from the very beginning, knowing how difficult it must have been for her to face constant criticism, especially as a woman of color. As Meghan embraced her new role outside the royal family, Harry supported her every step of the way. He was always the one behind the scenes, keeping her grounded when the media came after her or when she doubted herself. His constant encouragement allowed Meghan to stand taller, speak louder, and become the person she always wanted to be. Harry, who had always been seen as the more rebellious royal, was the first to understand the need for Meghan to step into her power. For him, this was not just about supporting his wife. It was about witnessing her become the woman who had always been inside her, waiting to break free. Meghan's transformation wasn't just a personal triumph. It was a collective one, and Harry's love, support, and commitment to her were essential parts of the journey. As they walked this new path together, Harry realized that their marriage had not only survived, it had thrived. It had deepened, strengthened, and evolved, just like Meghan herself. The impact on their marriage. As Meghan's transformation unfolded, so too did the bond between her and Harry. The changes in Meghan weren't just personal. She was evolving as a partner, a mother, and a public figure. These shifts in her life were naturally going to affect her marriage to Harry, but rather than causing strain, it only seemed to strengthen their connection. They had always been a team, but now they were navigating life with a deeper understanding of each other's needs, dreams, and desires. The couple had always been open about the challenges they faced, especially in the public eye. But as Meghan stepped into her own power, Harry realized how much he had underestimated her potential. He had seen her face adversity with grace, but it was only now that he truly understood the depth of her strength. As Meghan found her voice, it brought a new dimension to their relationship, one that was based on mutual growth and respect. Their marriage became a partnership not just in the sense of love and support, but in ambition and purpose. They were no longer just the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They were two individuals united by a shared mission to change the world for the better. What's more, the emotional connection between them deepened. No longer did they merely have a relationship built on shared history and royal obligations. They had become two souls with aligned visions for the future. Meghan's transformation allowed Harry to see a new side of her, a side that reflected strength, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to making a difference. And this new side of Meghan inspired Harry to continue evolving alongside her, adapting and growing just as she had. Every milestone Meghan achieved, Harry celebrated with her, knowing that each success was a testament to her unwavering determination. But beyond the successes, Harry also cherished the quiet moments with her, moments that spoke volumes about the true nature of their relationship. Together, they were stronger than ever, and they knew they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead, raising their family with new values. As Meghan transformed, so too did the way she and Harry approached their roles as parents. Their children, Archie and Lilibet, were growing up in a different world than the one Harry had experienced. While Harry had been raised within the confines of royal tradition, his own children would have the freedom to explore the world on their own terms. Meghan's transformation had instilled in both her and Harry a deep desire to raise their children with values of kindness, empathy, and independence, values that they themselves held dear. Meghan's work, advocating for women's rights, racial equality, and mental health, became an integral part of their family's mission. She and Harry began to raise their children with an understanding of the world beyond their own experiences, instilling in them a sense of responsibility to make a positive impact on the world. The couple emphasized the importance of using their platform for good, teaching their children that their voices mattered and that they had the power to make a difference. Raising children outside the royal spotlight, Meghan and Harry sought to provide them with a more normal upbringing, one that balanced fame with the simple joys of life. They encouraged their kids to appreciate the value of hard work, compassion, and community. Their household was one filled with love, learning, and an ongoing commitment to creating a better world. Meghan's transformation had given them both the tools to parent in a way that was thoughtful, grounded, and future-focused. As they raised their children, Meghan's transformation became a touchstone for how they would lead their family. They wanted to ensure that their children grew up with a sense of purpose, just as Meghan had found. It wasn't just about wealth or privilege, it was about compassion, integrity, and a deep commitment to improving the world. Meghan and Harry wanted to give their children the tools to live meaningful lives, grounded in the values that had come to define their own personal journeys. The emotional moment that changed everything. The day that Prince Harry found himself in tears, witnessing Meghan's transformation, marked a pivotal moment in their relationship and in their lives. It wasn't just the change in Meghan herself, it was the realization of how far they had come together. Meghan, once uncertain and unsure of her place in the world, had transformed into a confident and powerful force. and Harry couldn't have been more proud. The tears weren't born out of sadness. Rather, they came from a deep well of emotion, gratitude, and awe at the woman Meghan had become. He saw in her everything he had always admired: her strength, her intelligence, her unwavering commitment to making the world a better place. But most importantly, he saw in her the partner he had always hoped for, a woman who would not just walk beside him, but lead with him. In that moment, Harry realized that they had grown together as individuals and as a couple, and their journey had only just begun. The tears reflected the joy he felt for Meghan's transformation, but they also symbolized the realization that they were on the verge of something even greater, a future built on love, support, and shared values. And no matter what challenges lay ahead, Harry knew they could face them together, moving forward together. The transformation of Meghan Markle had not only affected her, but it had changed the entire course of her and Harry's lives. As they moved forward, they did so with a renewed sense of purpose. Meghan's newfound strength and confidence had breathed new life into their relationship, and together, they were forging ahead with a vision for the future that was uniquely their own. The journey had been long, filled with obstacles and challenges, but Meghan and Harry had come out stronger on the other side. They were no longer the couple that had been constantly scrutinized by the press. They had become two individuals who had found their own voices and were using them to create lasting change. The world had watched their transformation, and now, as they stepped into the future, the world would see the powerful partnership they had built. What does the future hold for Meghan and Harry? Their transformation is just the beginning of a new chapter, one that will undoubtedly shape their legacy and inspire others to embrace change and growth in their own lives. Stay tuned to see how their story continues to unfold. What do you think of Meghan Markle's incredible transformation? Do you believe it was the key to strengthening her relationship with Prince Harry? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. Also, click on the next video that appears on your screen. You won't want to miss it.
It was going to cause more harm than good.
The feud within the royal family has reached a boiling point. Prince Harry and Prince William are no longer holding back as they reportedly make their ultimate move against Queen Camilla. Accused of betrayal, manipulation, and leaking royal secrets to the press, Camilla's actions have left the nation stunned. The rift between the brothers and their stepmother has only grown deeper, and what the princes did next is sending shockwaves across the monarchy. Is this the beginning of the end for Queen Camilla?
What made her dangerous because of the connections that she was forging within the British press.
Prince Harry accuses Queen Camilla of manipulating the media. Prince Harry has never shied away from speaking his mind, and his latest accusations against Queen Camilla have sent shockwaves through the royal family and the public. In a series of interviews and his explosive memoir Spare, Harry described Camilla as dangerous, accusing her of manipulating the media to repair her public reputation. According to Harry, Camilla traded private information about the royal family with the British press in exchange for favorable coverage, a move he claims came at the expense of others, including himself and Prince William. Harry alleges that Camilla's efforts to rehabilitate her image began after she was widely viewed as the villain in the love triangle between her, King Charles, and Princess Diana. Following Diana's death, Camilla worked tirelessly to gain public approval, eventually becoming queen consort. However, Harry claims this transformation was achieved through a calculated campaign of leaks to the media, portraying her in a positive light while damaging the reputation of others in the royal household. One of Harry's most shocking claims is that Camilla's PR team leaked stories about his own struggles, including his use of drugs, to distract the press and shift attention away from her controversial past. He described this as a barter deal with the media, where Camilla provided inside information in exchange for glowing headlines. Harry even suggested that Camilla's actions left bodies in the street, referring to the damage done to family members' reputations. The tension between Harry, William, and Camilla dates back decades. Both brothers opposed their father's marriage to Camilla in 2005, believing it was inappropriate for the woman they blamed for the breakdown of their parents' marriage to become their stepmother. While they publicly wished their father well, behind the scenes, resentment lingered. Harry's accusations have reignited that animosity, making it clear that the wounds of the past have not healed. Despite these claims, Camilla has remained silent, with supporters pointing out her years of dedication to charitable work and the late Queen Elizabeth's endorsement of her as Queen Consort. However, Harry's accusations have painted a darker picture of her rise to power, leaving the nation divided. Is Camilla the manipulative figure Harry describes, or a misunderstood woman navigating a complex royal life? Harry and William opposed their father, marrying Camilla. The royal family has always been surrounded by drama, but few moments have been as controversial as King Charles's marriage to Camilla in 2005. While the public was divided over the union, Prince Harry and Prince William were firmly against it. The two brothers, still grieving the loss of their mother, Princess Diana, saw Camilla as the woman who had played a key role in the breakdown of their parents' marriage. Their opposition to the marriage was both personal and emotional. For years, Charles and Camilla had been romantically involved, even during Charles's marriage to Diana. Diana famously revealed the affair in her explosive 1995 interview, stating, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." This betrayal left a lasting impact on her sons, who harbored deep resentment toward Camilla as the other woman. When Charles announced his plans to marry Camilla, Harry and William reportedly begged their father not to go through with it. In his memoir Spare, Harry opened up about this difficult time. He described how he and William pleaded with their father to reconsider, arguing that the marriage would only bring more pain and controversy. However, Charles was determined to marry the woman he loved. Feeling defeated, the brothers eventually gave him their blessing, shook his hand, and assured him there were no hard feelings. But behind the scenes, the resentment lingered. Harry and William's disapproval stemmed not just from Camilla's role in their parents' failed marriage, but also from their fears about what her presence in the royal family would mean. Harry, in particular, admitted that the worried Camilla might become a wicked stepmother, like in the fairy tales he read as a child. He also accused her of being manipulative and using her relationship with the press to improve her public image, often at the expense of others in the royal family. Even after the marriage, the relationship between Camilla and the brothers remained frosty. Their interactions were polite but distant, with no warmth or genuine connection. The scars from the past were too deep to heal. To this day, Harry and William's opposition to their father's marriage to Camilla remains one of the most talked about chapters in royal history. Camilla's alleged role in leaking stories about the royal family. The royal family has always been surrounded by whispers, but Prince Harry's claims about Queen Camilla have ignited a firestorm of controversy. According to Harry, Camilla allegedly leaked private information about royal family members to the media as part of a calculated plan to rebuild her public image. In his memoir, Spare, and various interviews, Harry paints a picture of a woman who was willing to sacrifice others, including her stepsons Harry and William, to secure her place in the royal hierarchy. Harry alleges that Camilla entered into a barter agreement with the British press, exchanging sensitive royal details for positive coverage of herself. This, he claims, was part of a long-term strategy to repair her reputation after being labeled the villain in King Charles and Princess Diana's marriage. Harry described her as dangerous in an interview, suggesting that her close ties with the media made her a threat to anyone who stood in her way. Perhaps the most shocking of Harry's accusations is that Camilla's PR team leaked damaging stories about him and William to shift negative attention away from herself. Harry believes that details about his experimentation with drugs and other personal struggles were deliberately fed to the press to clean up Camilla's image. In his words, there were bodies left in the street as a result of her attempts to secure favorable headlines. The tension between Harry, William, and Camilla has long been a topic of speculation, but Harry's revelations have given the public an unprecedented look behind palace walls. Both brothers reportedly opposed their father's marriage to Camilla in 2005, fearing her influence in the royal family. While they eventually appeared to accept her publicly, Harry's accusations suggest that resentment has simmered beneath the surface for years. Camilla, for her part, has remained silent on the allegations, but royal insiders have defended her, pointing to her years of charitable work and her close relationship with King Charles. Even the late Queen Elizabeth publicly endorsed her as Queen Consort, praising her dedication to the monarchy. Despite this, Harry's claims have left the public divided. Is Camilla a cunning figure who manipulated the press at the expense of others? Or is she a misunderstood woman navigating the complexities of royal life? One thing is clear, the drama within the royal family is far from over. Strained relationship between Camilla and her stepson princes. The relationship between Queen Camilla and her stepsons, Prince William and Prince Harry, has long been a source of tension within the royal family. Despite public appearances of unity, insiders reveal that the bond between them has always been strained, rooted in the bitter history of their parents' marriage and Camilla's role in their father's life. For William and Harry, Camilla was not just their father's new wife. She was the woman widely seen as the third person in King Charles and Princess Diana's marriage. Diana's famous comment, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded," left no doubt in the public's mind about Camilla's involvement. This perception deeply impacted the young princes, who grew up watching their mother's heartbreak unfold before the world. When Charles announced his plan to marry Camilla in 2005, both brothers were reportedly unhappy. Harry later admitted in his memoir, Spare, that he and William had asked their father not to marry her, fearing it would only bring more pain and controversy. However, Charles was determined, and the princes eventually gave their reluctant approval, shaking his hand and wishing him well. Despite this, insiders say the resentment lingered, especially for Harry. Attempts to bridge the gap between Camilla and her stepsons have reportedly been unsuccessful. Interactions between them are described as polite but distant, with no genuine warmth. Royal events often highlight this tension, as Harry and William are said to maintain a careful distance from their stepmother. Camilla, aware of their feelings, has reportedly accepted her position as an outsider in their eyes. Harry has been particularly vocal about his feelings toward Camilla, accusing her of leaking private family details to the press to rehabilitate her public image. In interviews and his memoir, he called her dangerous and claimed she sacrificed others, including him and William, to improve her standing with the media. William, though less outspoken, is believed to share similar sentiments, holding on to loyalty to their late mother, Princess Diana. The strained relationship between Camilla and her stepsons is a painful reminder of the complexities within the royal family. While public smiles and handshakes suggest unity, the emotional scars left by the past seem far from healed, leaving Camilla's bond with William and Harry forever fractured. Camilla's influence on King Charles and royal affairs. Queen Camilla's rise to power within the royal family has been surrounded by controversy, with many insiders claiming her influence over King Charles has grown significantly since their marriage. While Camilla is often portrayed as a supportive partner, critics, including Prince Harry, have accused her of being the real power behind the throne, using her position to shape royal decisions and dynamics in her favor. But how much influence does Camilla truly have, and how has it affected the royal family? Camilla's journey into the royal spotlight was never smooth. After being blamed for the breakdown of King Charles and Princess Diana's marriage, she worked hard to rebuild her public image. Her efforts eventually earned her the title of Queen Consort, but Harry and William reportedly viewed her growing influence with suspicion. Harry, in particular, accused her of sacrificing others on her PR altar, claiming she used the media to strengthen her position, sometimes at the expense of other family members. One of the most contentious points is Camilla's alleged role in shaping how Charles interacts with his children. Insiders suggest that Camilla has played a significant part in discouraging King Charles from reconciling with Harry following his departure from royal duties in 2020. Reports claim she has taken a firm stance against Harry and Meghan's potential return to the royal fold, even going so far as to block Harry from visiting his father without prior notice. This has reportedly caused tension between Camilla and King Charles, who is said to be open to mending his relationship with his sons, but only on his own terms. Camilla's growing influence extends beyond family disputes. She is believed to have a strong hand in Charles's public and private affairs, often guiding his decisions. For example, when Charles publicly revealed his health issues earlier this year, Camilla was reportedly against the announcement, preferring to keep such matters private. However, Charles overruled her, reportedly after being encouraged by William and Harry to set an example for the public. Despite these claims, Camilla has also been credited with bringing stability to Charles's life and supporting his duties as monarch. But her influence remains a divisive topic. Is she a guiding force helping Charles navigate his role, or is she using her position to consolidate power within the palace? The debate continues, with Camilla's role in royal affairs sparking controversy both inside and outside the monarchy. King Charles caught between his wife and sons. King Charles finds himself in an unenviable position, trapped between the growing tension of his wife, Queen Camilla, and his sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. What should have been a time of unity for the royal family has instead become a battlefield, with Charles struggling to maintain peace while navigating one of the most complicated family rifts in modern royal history. The source of the tension largely revolves around Charles's marriage to Camilla. For years, both William and Harry harbored resentment toward their stepmother, whom they saw as the woman who played a key role in the breakdown of their parents' marriage. Diana's infamous 1995 interview, in which she declared, "There were 3 of us in this marriage," cemented Camilla's image as the other woman. While Charles ultimately married Camilla in 2005, neither William nor Harry ever fully accepted her as part of the family. Behind closed doors, the tension has reportedly only worsened over the years. Harry, in particular, has been vocal about his disdain for Camilla, accusing her of manipulating the media to rehabilitate her image. In his memoir, Spare, Harry claimed that Camilla's relationship with the press came at the expense of other family members, including himself and William. He even went so far as to call her dangerous in interviews, citing her alleged alleged willingness to sacrifice others for favorable headlines. As king, Charles is now caught in the middle of this feud. Reports suggest that he has tried to act as a mediator between his sons and his wife, but his efforts have been met with resistance. Camilla has reportedly taken a tough stance against Harry, particularly after his public attacks on her character. Some insiders claim she has even blocked Harry from visiting his father without prior notice, further complicating any efforts at reconciliation. Meanwhile, Charles is said to be open to repairing his relationship with Harry, but only on his own terms. However, this puts him at odds with Camilla, who reportedly believes the king has no reason to feel guilty or reach out to Harry and Meghan. The ongoing feud has left Charles in an impossible position, torn between loyalty to his sons and his devotion to his wife. As the tension continues to escalate, the question remains: can Charles ever bring peace to his fractured family, or will the divide grow even deeper? Harry's memoir, Spare, and additional criticisms of Camilla. Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, has taken the world by storm, offering a raw and unfiltered look into his life as a royal and the struggles he faced growing up in the public eye. However, one of the most explosive aspects of the book is Harry's pointed criticisms of Queen Camilla. His revelations have not only shocked royal watchers, but have also reignited the long-standing tension within the royal family. In Spare, Harry holds nothing back when discussing his feelings about Camilla, whom he refers to as dangerous. He accuses her of manipulating the media to shape her public image while sacrificing the reputations of others, particularly his and his brother William's. This characterization paints a picture of a woman willing to go to great lengths to secure her position as queen consort, even at the expense of her stepsons. Harry claims that Camilla's close relationship with the press allowed her to leak damaging stories about him and William, using their struggles to distract from her own controversial past. Harry's portrayal of Camilla is particularly striking because it reveals the deep emotional scars left by their mother, Princess Diana's tragic death. He suggests that Camilla represents everything that went wrong in their family, positioning her as a symbol of betrayal and heartbreak. The prince's memories of his mother's suffering at the hands of the royal family only amplify his criticisms of Camilla, making it clear that these feelings run deep. As the public reaction to Spare unfolds, many are left wondering how Camilla will respond to Harry's accusations. While she has remained mostly silent, royal insiders are reportedly braced for potential fallout. The divide between the brothers and their stepmother has only widened, raising questions about the future dynamics within the royal family. Additionally, Harry's criticisms have sparked conversations about the broader implications of Camilla's role in the monarchy. Are her actions as manipulative as Harry suggests, or is she simply a woman trying to navigate the complexities of royal life? As the debate rages on, it's clear that Spare has opened old wounds and reignited a debate that many thought was settled long ago: Harry's desire to reintegrate into the royal family. Prince Harry's journey away from royal life has been filled with drama and heartache, but recent reports suggest he may be yearning to find his way back into the fold. After stepping back from royal duties in 2020 and moving to the United States, Harry's relationship with his family has been strained, particularly with his father, King Charles, and his stepmother, Queen Camilla. However, whispers of Harry's desire to reintegrate into the royal family have sparked hope among royal watchers and fans alike. The turning point for Harry seems to have come after the birth of his two children, Archie and Lilibet. As a father, Harry has expressed a desire for his children to connect with their royal roots. He often reflects on his childhood memories of family gatherings, royal events, and the importance of tradition. In interviews, he has mentioned wanting his children to have a sense of belonging within the royal family, which has made him reconsider his decision to distance himself. Harry's recent public appearances have also hinted at his desire for reconciliation. During a visit to the UK for various events, including the unveiling of a statue of his mother, Princess Diana, Harry appeared more open and willing to engage with his family. Reports suggest he has reached out to old friends and aides, seeking to rebuild bridges that had been burnt over the past few years. His willingness to be back in the UK, despite the media scrutiny, indicates a strong desire to reconnect. However, the path to reintegration is fraught with challenges. The ongoing tensions with Camilla remain a significant hurdle. Harry's criticisms of her in his memoir, Spare, have not gone unnoticed, making it difficult for him to find common ground with her. Additionally, William has also been hesitant, still holding on to the wounds from the past. Family dynamics are complicated, and the brothers' relationship needs healing before any real reconciliation can happen. Despite these challenges, Harry has shown signs of hope. He has expressed a desire for honest conversations with his family, emphasizing the importance of understanding and healing. The royal family, often seen as a fortress of tradition, now faces the challenge of adapting to a new era where communication and openness could bridge the gap. Future tensions things. Lawsuits and the paperback release of Spare Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, has already made waves with its explosive revelations, but the upcoming paperback release is set to reignite tensions within the royal family and possibly lead to more legal battles. As the world eagerly anticipates the new edition, which promises additional content and insights, questions loom about how it will impact Harry's already strained relationships with his family, particularly with King Charles and Prince William. The paperback version of Spare is rumored to include new chapters that delve deeper into Harry's experiences and emotions since the original release. This fresh content may shed light on ongoing conflicts, including his complicated relationship with Queen Camilla and the fallout from his decisions to step back from royal duties. With the royal family still reeling from the initial accusations and revelations, the prospect of further details being shared in print is causing anxiety among palace insiders. One of the most pressing concerns is the potential for lawsuits. Following the original release of Spare, there were murmurs that some members of the royal family were considering legal action over the memoir's content. As Harry prepares to unveil more personal stories, the likelihood of legal disputes increases. Royal experts suggest that if Harry continues to make accusations against Camilla or shares sensitive information about family matters, it could push Charles and William to take a stand in court. Moreover, the book's revelations have already strained relationships to the breaking point. The already rocky dynamic between Harry and his family has been exacerbated by his candid critiques of Camilla and his portrayal of his upbringing. The potential for fresh revelations in the paperback adds a layer of uncertainty, as it could lead to more public feuds and further divide the family. As the publication date approaches, the world watches with bated breath. Will Harry's revelations bring about more tension and lawsuits, or could they help pave the way for understanding and healing? The future of the royal family hangs in the balance, and the paperback release of Spare may just be the catalyst that determines their fate. Only time will tell how this chapter of royal history unfolds.